Attention, Sergeant on deck!
27's blaster carbine roared as it hurled bolt after bolt at his opponents, pushing the weapon's built-in fire control systems to their limit. All around him, 2 full squads from the 501st Legion did the same, refusing to fall back or even remove their fingers from the triggers. But as CT-13-8327 blasted away on a day that many of his brethren would look back on with regret, he felt no guilt or even a hint of remorse. Instead, he felt something that he hadn't in years. Now, satisfaction.
Tonight's our revenge. This is for Geonosis, for Jabim, for Umbara, for this whole damn war. This is for all my squad mates that died in reckless charges, taking some remote hellhole that they never really cared for to begin with. This is for all the clones these kirking wizards got killed with their incompetence.
As 27 blasted clean through the defenses of his Jedi opponent, he internally expressed a sentiment that many clones had come to hold over the course of the war.
They wanted an army of slaves, of soldiers that would fulfill their every command and follow with their every little plot. They use us to start their war, to fight their war, to die in their war, and then they go and betray the Republic. Kirk that, and kirk them. They can eat plasma.
The blaster fire died down as the last of the Jedi in this corridor collapsed, shot through multiple times each. A little over a dozen clones were left aside from 27, and they immediately fanned out along the long, arched corridor, scanning for any signs of Jedi treachery and covering all of the exits. It was the Jedi Temple, after all, and no one could ever be too safe. 27's squad mate, Zach, was the first to break the silence.
Good hit, 27. He nearly blasted away his entire head.
27 responded with a sardonic tone.
Do I get bonus points for it?
These men weren't 27's first squad. Those men had all been dead for well over 2 years, as had the men of his second, third, and even fourth. Being the last man standing 4 times in a row had taken a toll on the man. After his second squad, he never really got close with any of his squad mates, and for the most part, those of his current squad took the same approach. This didn't bother him in the slightest. On the contrary, he preferred it that way. It didn't stop Zach from breaking the silence a second time, however.
Look at the size of this blasted hallway alone. It's ridiculous. I mean, when you see the temple from afar off, it looks huge, but you really don't get how huge until you're in it.
Scopes, another clone, spoke up too.
There's an entire mountain peak inside this thing, you know. The center. That middle tower was built on a natural peak. Must have cost trillions to build.
27 spoke up again.
They could have afforded slave soldiers that didn't banter if they just rented out an apartment complex.
Zach and Scopes laugh.
Where's the fun in that? After all, the Jedi wouldn't be the Jedi without building a massive temple to prove to the galaxy that they are, in fact, the ones with the biggest lightsabers.
Scopes laughed again, though this time his laugh quickly faded as he took a more serious turn.
Seriously though, think of what else the cost of this damn thing could have covered. Fighting must have come from the Senate after all. At the cost of one less Jedi temple, hundreds of worlds could have been bailed out of all sorts of crises. They could have actually helped the systems that needed it, instead of making them so desperate that they secede.
Zach shot a quick glance of concern toward his squad mate.
Careful now, 27. That sounds a bit separatist.
Scopes interjected again.
It sounds right. Seps are traitors, and we're going to wipe them out for it. But there are a fair few that were lured in by Dooku's lies. Fair point. Dooku was a Jedi after all. And you know how they can get. That's why we're here. Tonight's about making sure it doesn't happen again.
The sound of a blaster shot made all 3 clones jump and fall silent. They turned to see Sergeant Thek with his blaster pointed toward the roof, smoke still pouring from its barrel, motioning for the squad to fall in. The clones complied, and the sergeant addressed them.
New order should be coming this way any second. Get ready.
Before he had even finished speaking, his comlink pinged. He activated it, and the blue, transparent figure of Commander Apo appeared.
You clear over there, Sergeant? Yes, Commander. Good. You're right on schedule. Your next task is to sweep the barracks. Coming for stragglers mostly. Shouldn't be too hard. And you'll be reinforced on the other side. Now, get to it. Lord Vader wants this over with.
As suddenly as he had appeared, Apo's hologram vanished, and without a word, the squad set off down an adjacent corridor. It wasn't too long for a corridor in the Jedi Temple, but the clones were still cautious as they crept from door to door in groups of 4, kicking down doors and doing quick sweeps for any surviving Jedi. The silence endured as the operation continued, mostly without incident. 27 had taken point for his group and kicked down door after door only to reveal an empty, bare-bones room belonging to some Padawan or other that was either dead or gone. The only comfort was that the business was quick. The rooms were so small and so barren that there was literally nowhere to hide and therefore nowhere to search. Nonetheless, Zack kept looking back every few paces, always expecting to see a Jedi creeping away or charging toward them. Eventually, conversation began to pick up again, albeit in hoarse whispers, once more spurred on by Zack.
You know, I heard a rumor a few weeks back that the Jedi actually programmed this mission into us. Some business with, chips or some such.
For the first time in months, 27 laughed.
I'd believe that, actually. It's no matter, though. I'm thinking right now the same thoughts I've been having for well over a year right now. Chip or no chip, I'd do this again in a heartbeat, without hesitation. First mission like that since the start of the war.
Scopes threw in his own thoughts before silence fell again.
Inclined to agree with you there. The Jedi have had this coming ever since Geonosis, when they thought it'd be a good idea to do a carking charge across valleys that our rifles could shoot perfectly well across. Yeah, no sympathy here.
As Scopes finished speaking, 27 kicked down yet another door, but this time he stopped. 7 pairs of eyes looked back at him, wide with fear, as a group of Jedi children stepped back from the door. 6 of them were of various species, somewhere between the ages of 8 and 10, and they were crouched behind what appeared to be a young human Padawan who couldn't have been older than 12.
Hold on! Stop! They're just kids! I'll go. Just leave them be.
The clones said nothing. Zack lowered his blaster rifle slightly before the Padawan spoke again.
I don't even have a lightsaber yet. Please.
27 kept his blaster sights trained on the boy's head.
That's an order.
And then 27 snapped.
An order, is it? We already have our orders. Good night, kid.
27 pulled the trigger and the youngling screamed as a blaster bolt tore through the Padawan's chest. It took half a dozen more shots before the screams quieted down. 27 reloaded his carbine and turned. The other 3 men in his squad were still facing the room looking at the bodies. After a second thought though, they snapped out of it and Zack spoke up.
Come on, men. No, it's not over. We've still got half the corridor left.
As the 4 clones turned and continued, Scopes strode to the front of the group.
Point's mine now. Can't let you keep that 7-point lead, 27.
They continued the process of breaking into empty quarters in silence until Lib, the 4th clone in their group, spoke up.
You alright, 27? Some men might have had qualms about killing kids.
27 laughed again.
The Jedi never did. Remind me how many died on Geonosis again? 27,514. Yeah, that's over 27,000 10-year-olds killed in one day. We've still got a lot of catch-up to do.
So guys, that was our rendition of how Operation Knightfall would have gone with a disgruntled 501st Clone Trooper. Now, as with all of the other stories that we do on this channel, this of course isn't canonically accurate, but it is based off the facts we have, and it is also just a little bit of fun, so I sincerely hope you guys enjoyed that. And just before you guys go, I want to give a massive shout out to everybody who made this possible, including my awesome writer Grievous1138 and the guy who does these awesome clone voices as well, Frankster5261. So make sure you hop on our Discord and send them a nice message if you enjoyed what they did today. And also check out all the links in the description below, including our Discord links where you can thank them, as well as our Geetsly's Gaming Network links, my Patreon link, and my History channel link. So as always guys, thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you in the next video.